What's going on, everyone? Darian here with Live at 5. And tonight, I've got guest speaker Lionel Robins here to talk about the NFL. Is it set up? You know, there's a lot of controversy right now going around on different things when we're talking about reffing, sporting uh, games, and how long have they been set up. So I'm going to introduce Lionel. He's coached and played for over 30 years. He's been an avid 49er fan for the last 38 years. As you can see, he's wearing his shirt tonight. He's been to 9 Super Bowls in person. Watched his team lose a couple, I think.
Yeah. Everyone I went to in person, they lost.
So 49ers fans are not allowed to hold him to that. He's still invited. So a few weeks ago, I mentioned to Lionel, because I've kind of posted, especially this year, about different things that I've seen that I believe the NFL is set up. Players miss that one play, they're paid millions of dollars to make that one play, and all of a sudden the game's on the line right before overtime. Are they doing it for stats, do you think? Are they doing it for wins? What's your opinion? And you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I totally give in to the theories on them being completely fixed, but I think that stuff's going around. I mean, we look at the recent accusations against the Miami Dolphins, which I mean, when 3 or 4 people are corroborating the testimony, the evidence, saying I was actually paid to take games. I mean, that's kind of the epitome when you get to that point. That's not even doing it for, that's not Vegas getting involved, whatever. That's creating that.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you before we got online. Even it's not just the NFL. I mean, FIFA has been actually caught specifically altering games and had a really big upheaval. I think I read somewhere that for every 1,000 reports of a rigged game, I think 665 are a soccer game, and all the other sports combined make up the other 35%. It's one of the most. So you go to NFL football, you got 22 guys on the field. So you got one guy altering it. You say, well, will that change the game? Then you hear about a whole. So I'd always say, well, I played football before, and one guy can try and take a game, even a quarterback, and it either becomes so obvious or he just can't do it. And then you hear about an actual team, where the coach says, I mean, can a head coach tank a game? I was a head coach for 20 years of my coaching, and absolutely, I could just.
By calling different plays.
Yeah, I call the plays that I know they're set up for. I mean, that just aren't going to work, right? So I think it happens, and I think every professional sport it's happening. I don't know what the level is, and I think in this new modern age with instant access to information, it's going to come out whether it's for monetary reasons. Well, I guess it's always monetary reasons, right?
Yeah.
NFL is now what the wealthiest,
one of the wealthiest
sporting events out there, and it's big money. I mean, some people will say, well, they wanted this quarterback to win the Super Bowl or this was a small market, right? New Orleans is we're a smaller market, that's why you let the bigger market beat us in the game, and everyone makes those accusations. I don't know, it's interesting. I think there's going to be more now that a few guys have stepped forward with actual specific instances of game fixing. I think you'll see more.
When the Cowboys, Des Bryant, was posted not too long ago on one of his Instagrams and everything that he was released in one of the seasons and accused the Cowboys of tanking that season as well
for a
draft order. Yeah. And same with Jacksonville. There's been multiple reports of Jacksonville tanking in multiple seasons. Like this is for Jacksonville, this is an ongoing almost every year.
We're gonna get 6 number 1 picks in a row and build a super team for next decade. Yeah.
And they never seem to get lucky with no matter who they pick or what happens in Jacksonville.
I don't know, man. I can tell you I've coached amateur sport my whole adult life, and tanking is a relative term in amateur sports too. Like, I know that I've sat on a field in semifinals where I go, if we win this game, we play the hardest team in the first round of the playoffs. And if we lose this game, we play a team that maybe we have a better chance of beating. Now, that's not to say I've ever went on the field and told the players, hey, let's lose this game so we can play this other. But I certainly will sit there with my own thoughts going, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we lost this game because then we'll probably get through another round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? So you have those thoughts, and that's maybe that's the entry level of tanking where you're like, you know what? I'd be okay going home losing this one or whatever because of the way this sets up. And trust me, that in amateur sports, that happens all the time. I've
Yeah.
sat around where everyone's got that, wow, if they win and they lose and this team wins and we're here, and, oh, then we'll play this team and oh, we can beat that team.
That's the team that,
right? And
the
so
favorites,
so
yeah.
they're and parents do it more than the coaches. They come up to me and say, Coach, did you realize that, if you do this and if you lost this one, it wouldn't hurt our feelings. I'm like, well, let's just try and win every game, right?
Yeah.
But will we be crying if we lose? No. It means we get to the team that maybe we beat earlier in the year. So it's that's the entry level of tanking. And then the other side of the tanking is, hey, I'll give you $100,000 for every game you lose because we want to go after this player in the draft.
Yeah.
So, and everything else in between, right? So,
Yeah, like Brian Flores, he quoted that they gave him $100,000.
100,000 to lose games. Yeah.
That's
if
pretty
that
brave.
if that comes out and is proven and is true, then that's going to turn everybody on their ear because now there's no more conspiracy theories or whatever. It's like we were literally creating. It might even start getting a lot of people in an uproar to start talking about altering the rules for the draft.
Yeah.
Like
which would make sense.
If the worst team gets the first draft pick and the bottom 3 teams are found to be almost cheating in a way,
yeah,
to fight for last place, then the draft's policies should change.
Yeah.
Somebody actually said the other day, and I thought this was great. It was on a post that we should get rid of the Pro Bowl, especially because they took away contact. Which, by the way, for anyone that doesn't like contact in football, and this, all apologies in advance, but that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. But
can you imagine playing flag? Yeah, flag football. Yeah. We just watched that.
It's funny. I said that. I said give them flags then. If you're not going to let them actually tackle, give them flags and make it a fun flag football game, and they can take their helmets off and we'll recognize them while they're playing. That'd be kind of cool. But anyways, somebody said they should take away the Pro Bowl and they should actually instead have the last and the bottom 2 teams play a real game and the winner gets the first draft pick. You want to see 2 teams that will come up for blood. I would actually pay you to go watch that game. You'd have these 2 31st and 32nd place teams killing each other because some rock star is coming out of Ohio State for a quarterback or something.
Yeah.
And that's a real game, right? So
like I watched like 5 minutes of the game. I turned it on and I'm like,
which one? Oh, the Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl this year. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, it literally made me ill watching that. I'm like, this isn't even football. Like,
I streamed the skills competitions on YouTube and then didn't watch the game.
Yeah, like, I don't know why people, like, if I was a fan and paying to go to this game, to watch this game, I would have been livid.
Yeah.
Like,
well, funny enough, so as a season ticket holder, we get to go on. Roger Goodell actually does these Zooms, so I was telling you what you got to go on. Somebody asked a question of him. I thought it was a good question. They said, why did you move the Pro Bowl to the week before the Super Bowl instead of the week after? Because at least the one entertainment you had the week after is usually at least one, if not both, of the Super Bowl quarterbacks also made it to the Pro Bowl. So here's the guy that won and the guy that lost, and they're chewing on each other, and they it's all good-natured fun, and there's all this kind of more intense competition. Doing it the week before, now you don't have any of the players from the 2 best teams in the league. Then they took away contact.
Yeah.
And actually, I had my son go and Google. When I saw there was no contact, he says, well, yeah, they don't want people getting hurt in nothing games. I'm like, how many serious injuries or career-ending injuries have happened in a Pro Bowl? We're like, I don't know. So of course we asked Uncle Google. Yeah. It was like 2 in 54 years. 2 players out of 100 per year times 52 years. So from a percentage, it's not even a whole percent.
Wow.
It's a fraction. But we got to take away this because we don't want people getting hurt. Well, then don't play a Pro Bowl game.
Yeah.
Make it like the NBA where it's basically just a 3-point competition. Like I actually enjoyed watching it because it is what it is. It's just who can score 200 points first.
Yeah. Steph Curry.
Yeah, and that's what.
Points,
yeah, and that's what. Yeah, and that's what it is, right? But don't pretend it's a real football game because a real football game, from a guy that's played it, involves hitting the crap out of somebody else.
Yeah.
Period. That's why I lasted 1 game in flag football. I got ejected for roughing because I played real football my whole life, and I was like, I didn't know how to play it without hitting somebody. So
yeah, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And so the Rams, when we look, is the NFL set up? The Rams win the Super Bowl. All preseason, you're in a fancy new $2 billion stadium.
Yeah.
They go all in for Stafford. They get Von Miller.
Yeah.
They get OBJ.
They're told they're going to win at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Everybody said the Rams are gonna win. Yeah.
Well, I have to say, as a 49ers fan, I might be a little selfish in saying somebody paid our safety to drop that interception that sent the Rams to the Super Bowl. But I think he honestly just dropped the stupid ball. But anyways, I don't know, man. My frustration from this year's Super Bowl. And this is my frustration I think everyone has with all these close games, is that the refereeing changes.
Yeah.
Either it's a tight call game or it's not a tight call game. So for the refereeing
Yeah,
to
no
change in the
consistency.
last 3 minutes of all these tight games, like there was what, 16 games in
That
overtime this year or
that
something?
went into overtime. Yeah.
And every one showed a complete reversal in, like,
At the end of the game.
you know what I like seeing in the first quarters? I like feeling out how they're going to play the game. You see a little bit of grabbing, a little bit of poking, and you're like, oh, that should maybe be interference or something. And then you see it on the other side, and they don't call it on either side. And you go, oh, well, this is one of those referee groups that's going to let them play. That's
Yeah.
as a former defender, that's what we say, hey, let us play, man. Like, you can't just keep throwing flags at us. Then there's other refs that call everything. But then in the last 3 minutes, when they change it up, a lot of it's what's creating. Like, I know a lot of people go, well, it's because refereeing's fixed. I honestly don't think it's fixed. I think what it is now everybody's got instant replay on their phones in the stadium. Like, I see so many guys. I paid good money for this seat. I'm looking over the guys watching it on his phone. I'm like, you can do that at home. But anyways, everyone has instant access. Nobody waits for the big TV anymore. When they see something they don't like, everybody goes, whoa, and they watch it on their phone right away.
Yeah.
And everyone's roaring and screaming and booing and whatever else, and everybody at home. So I think what it is these refs actually, they're not saying I've been paid to change the way I ref. I think they're so freaking scared of making a mistake in the last 3 minutes that they all of a sudden become different refs. They literally,
It's just
it's
automatic.
They're getting mind melded. Like I think that's what it is. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I think if the refs were in on it, they'd make a lot more money. maybe.
Hold on, I'll introduce you. So this is my son Xavier. He loves football. He loves OBJ. I'll let him. You can do a quick introduction.
So in the game that sent either the Buccaneers or the Rams to the Super Bowl, in the last minute they ended up calling a lot of plays against the Buccaneers in the last minute that they wouldn't call against the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Same in the Niners game, right? 3 or 4 penalties in the last 45 seconds. And I think they're sitting there going, I don't want to screw up, so I'd rather throw the flag and be aggressive than be accused of throwing a game by not calling the flag.
Or here's the other thing that I'm thinking of is if it's the NFL doing this, are they doing it for ratings? Because for a few years ratings were down, and you get all these games now that people have to watch to the end because the teams aren't getting blown out anymore. They're all going into overtime. Ratings are increasing because more people are tuning in even in the last few minutes of the game. Crunch time, we're getting close to playoffs. They've got all the teams where one game can make a difference from every team almost getting in now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the NHL where we know Phoenix is going to be in the doghouse all year, right? Like, but in the NFL, it's literally that one call, that one overtime play that could make a difference. Ratings are up huge now. Revenue is up huge for the NFL.
Yeah, big market teams are winning more of the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a couple of hometown teams win the last couple of Super Bowls. Never happened before.
Never happened
2 years in a row. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know if half of it is intentional. Some of it for sure is. I mean, to say that professional sports isn't being fixed, that's blinders.
Yeah.
They've been fixing professional sports since like Babe Ruth was playing baseball.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't think they're always fixes. I think what's happened is there's just so much pressure on it. The game's gotten faster. These poor refs, I mean, I was doing some research before tonight on the MLB has that new automatic strike zone they're thinking of. So they put it into one of their minor leagues and it failed. It created this little strike zone that none of the pitchers could hit. All the teams were running out of pitchers. The games were taking 4.5, 5 hours. High scores, like basically, you know, everyone's like, no, we got to go back to just yelling at the umpire because that was an obvious ball that he called a strike, whatever. Like they want some of the humanness in it, but the game's gotten so fast. I mean, that poor bugger's going to have a heart attack at 50 with the stress they're putting on those guys.
Yeah.
So the NFL put what they call an eye in the sky. So they've got a referee, a 7th ref is up in the thing, and I actually didn't find that out until we had that Zoom conference. They didn't even really advertise it, but there's a guy up there that is watching it that has the ability to literally call down and say, no, that was a catch or that was a fumble, whatever, so that it doesn't always have to go to that replay. It was meant to just kind of catch the easy ones.
Yeah.
So if you want my opinion, they should actually have 3 eyes in the sky. Let's face it, the cost of referees is this much of the cost of running the NFL. So instead of 7, 6-1, go 6-3 or 6-4. And the last 3 minutes of the game, outside of offsides and, although you sent me a picture about that, but offsides and legal procedures and the stuff that you can eyeball, take the game in the last 3 minutes out of those poor refs on the field and let the guys with 7 screens all around them make the big calls.
And about the Zoom, so you were actually on a Zoom with Roger.
Yeah, it was cool, and I can't believe nobody participates in this. So I've only been a season ticket holder for 2 years. So they sent me a note saying, hey, Roger Goodell, starting this year, he wants to get input from the fans, so he does 32 Zooms. So each team gets to invite their season ticket holders. Well, the 49ers, I think like half of their stadium is season ticket holders, so that's like 36,000.
Yeah.
And there was 110 of us on it. It's kind of like, this is weird. I mean, it was middle of the day, so I had to kind of like, I'm at my desk and like people trying to come get me do stuff. I'm like, hang on a second.
Still, as a season ticket holder though, to be on a Zoom with Roger.
Yeah, it was cool. We didn't get to like go on and talk. We had to type in our request stuff because they didn't want everybody talking at once. But actually, people were typing questions. He was answering them. I asked a question about the eye in the sky, and that's when I actually felt dumb because I didn't know about it. I said, well, why don't you have somebody upstairs on Instant Replay all the time? He goes, yeah, we do that. It's called the eye in the sky. And I'm like, okay, well, I watch every game and I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
So. But he says, yeah, we're really working.
I imagine it's the drone that they have. I've seen a couple pictures where they have like a drone.
Yeah, well, I think that or that one that's on the wire that they borrowed from the old XFL, right? I mean, that's your, like when they show the quarterback trying to leap across the goal line, they show it from the top, like either he's got the ball or not, right?
Yeah.
You come back to what's the most what they think is the biggest fixed Super Bowl ever, Super Bowl 40 against the Steelers and the Seahawks. It was the first one I was at.
Yeah.
And that game was won by less than a touchdown, and Roethlisberger scored on a 4th and goal. And later on, when they broke it down to all angles, he did not cross that line. It was close, but it even went to review and they still didn't overturn it. If they'd had that back at that time, right over top, it was painfully obvious he was that much short. In that game, Seahawks could have had their first Super Bowl. So it's a blown human error call.
And that happens in all sports.
But they argue that went to. They took like 3 or 4 minutes to look that thing over, and then still said it was a touchdown. And if you go online right now and watch it, it's not. So they're going, how did they miss that, right? So there's the conspiracy theory of, well, you know what? What's his name? Jerome Bettis was retiring. The bus was retiring. Roethlisberger was the shiny new toy. I think it was only his second year in the league. Seahawks, well, as a 49er fan, I'll say nobody gives a shit what the Seahawks is, right? and that they wanted Pittsburgh to have that Super Bowl. It was destined to be their game. And that's where all that talk, that was the Super Bowl that really started the whole, the fix is on. So.
One then, so I sent you a picture. Aaron Donald.
Yes. No, I will tell you, there's other pictures though. From different angles, so they're trying to say the angle of this and that, and it looks, and I go, I don't know, when his helmet seems to be right over the top of the ball, that kind of looks to be the offside. That's just
and did you see the video of McVay saying Aaron AD is going to make that play? He's got, I forget where I've seen it, but there's like a 50-second video where at the end, like right before that final play, McVay is telling everybody, AD is going to make this play. AD is going to make this play. Just watch this. Goes the end of the game. AD makes the play. Rams win the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's Babe Ruth, right? He called his shot. He was right. Debo did that in one of the. He says, "Give me the ball and I'll score on this next one. Put this game away." And then they gave him the ball and he somehow evaded 5 tacklers and scored. And everybody's like, "Oh, that was pretty convenient." So, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, you're right. I don't know, man. Like I hate to tell stories out of school, but there was a few times like we were playing a team that had just started in the league and they had never scored a touchdown yet. And that's what happens when you have a brand new team, like the Jacksonville Jaguars or whatever, right? And we had one of the better teams that year. So the coach came up to me and said, "You know what? You guys are gonna smoke us anyways, but we'd love to take the bus ride home talking about our first touchdown. So is there any way you guys a touchdown?" I said, "Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. Because really, what we'll do is we'll get up on you by 3 or 4 scores." And I'll just pull my starting defense. We'll let the little kids go out there. And I said, I'm not going to talk to the kids because 13-year-old kids are the worst actors in the world.
So be falling over.
So we couldn't do it. I kept putting out the B team and they couldn't score. Like I couldn't throw that game or throw a touchdown to save my life. So finally I had to let the kid in on it, right? The running back. I'm like, we were on our own like 5-yard line. I'm like, fumble the ball. Like what? I'm like, just fumble the ball. Like we're already ahead by like 30 points. I want this team to feel good about themselves, right?
Yeah.
Well, the little 13-year-old practically fumbles the ball by handing it to him. Like he literally almost falls into him and hands him the ball. So I'm like doing one of these because to me on the sidelines it was like painfully obvious that like, he was like, "Oh look, I've fumbled the ball to you."
Yeah.
And then they fumbled it back to us. And I'm like, I can't even give you the ball. So anyways, it's a lot harder to purposely throw a specific game than you think. I mean, refs can impact and they can make bad calls and they can offset. And I still believe sometimes refs blow a legitimate call. Then they look at the screen later and go, oh crap, I blew that
Yeah.
call. And then they'll make a bad call on the other side later. I think there was wasn't it a few years ago where the head ref didn't have his mic off?
Yeah,
And he said
started-
something like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to have to make a makeup call on the other side, and realized his mic was on and it blew up. I was like, okay, did anyone not think that was happening?
Yeah, that
if
was
I'm a
coming
ref,
up
I'm going to
on-
be like, oh, I better find something to call on the other team, right?
That was coming up on their mic because they're always mic'd up now.
Yeah, and he
Like-
forgot to turn it off. He's like,
Yeah.
now we're going to have to call on the other team because I screwed up that call. And I realized it was coming out through the whole stadium or something. Right?
Yeah, like even Tom Brady, when he got hit, when he was swearing at the ref and got his first penalty.
Yeah.
In the playoff
Yeah.
game there.
So don't get me started on, not on Tom Brady, but the idea of these rules, these new ref rules that are to protect somebody.
Yeah.
Like they have rules to say protect the quarterbacks. How is it that Brady gets just like literally touched on the shoulder on the way by from some defensive end and it's roughing the passer? And then when the backup quarterback for, I don't know, Washington gets absolutely driven into the ground where the legs are up in the air and there's no
call. Yeah.
And they go, okay, so is it roughing the passer or is it roughing the top rated QB passer?
Yeah.
You know, just
And-
call it what it is. Throw the flag and say, flag on the field applying too much pressure to a stud player that makes the NFL billions a year.
Yeah.
And then the next one says no call, say there's no flag on the play because it was for a nobody that nobody will remember his name by next season anyways. Just be honest.
Yeah, because they don't want that QB to get hurt. Like
Yeah,
when
right.
Brady got hurt and missed that entire year.
Yeah, right.
In that first game.
Or Burrow his first season or whatever
Yeah.
with the knee injury, right? So I don't know. I have a real problem with all these new rules, which is also putting pressure on the refs. There's more rules now than there was 10 years, and all those they're to protect the players. Okay, if there's a rule to protect the players, it should protect every player.
Yeah, not just the star
If
players.
Antonio Brown or Des Bryant or somebody goes across the middle and gets hammered and that's hit on a defenseless receiver, that's one thing. If it's some no-name receiver that just came off the practice squad and you don't flag it, then that's a problem, right? I mean, I think if you're going to have rules designed to protect from concussions or whatever else, it should apply to all of them. But the refs naturally be like, oh, somebody touched Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's like, damn right, like that guy was all over me. And then they show the replay, and he literally grazes him on the way by. Tom Brady doesn't even fall down. And I'm trying to remember what play it was. I was going to write it down, but literally the guy put his hand over and touched his shoulder, and Tom Brady did one of those, and they were like roughing the passer.
Oh wow.
And then Washington has Heineke who gets driven into the ground where the two defenders literally flipped over top from driving him into the ground, and there's no flag. So which is it, right?
Yeah, I think I remember that one too.
Yeah.
We watched most of the games this year.
Yeah, it was literally like a
Yeah.
graze, and they're like, oh, roughing the passer. I'm like, oh, well, outside of hurting his feelings, I think he'll be okay. Right, so.
One, and then you get like Prescott. 17 seconds left in the game. You just paid him what? He's 40 million this year.
He forgets how to play football.
And yeah, puts the ball down. The end of the game, the Cowboys are out again.
Yeah.
The funny meme that I seen today was J-Lo has more rings than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
She's got 5 to Prescott's 0.
Yeah.
And Mahomes, 17 seconds left.
Forgets
All
how
of
to
a sudden-
forgets how to play football.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hey, remember my old buddy Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl where the lights went off for an hour and a half. That was a fun one to be sitting in the middle of. Here's a guy that's run the entire season. That's what he's known for. The guy's a scrambler. They have a chance to win the game against the Baltimore that year.
Yeah, and he passes.
It's a first and goal on the 4 and incomplete 4 times in a row to a running quarterback. And I'm literally like for weeks afterwards, like what happened? I'm like somehow Colin Kaepernick forgot that he was a running quarterback for 4 consecutive plays.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, they were watching for the run. Yeah, they were watching for all year, and he ran for like 700 yards.
Yeah.
He's a running quarterback. That's like it was ridiculous. So I sometimes lend into that where I go,
Well, and Seattle did that too.
not running, throwing the interception on the goal line. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, there's all kinds of examples where.
When they had Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
It's like they were on like a half-yard line or
You
something.
know the
It's like-
conspiracy theory on that one though, right? You got the Golden Boy, right? You got Russell Wilson, who's all American. He's the Walter Payton Man of the Year last year.
Yeah.
He's just a good old boy. He does so much for charity. And then you have
And
Marshawn Lynch, the
Lynch,
thug
yeah.
of the team, and they're like, man, we can't have the thug win this game for us. We need Russell to win this game so that he can get laid by the head cheerleader at the end of the game or whatever. Right? Like, if you ever wanted to talk about something that I thought was kind of scripted, I don't even know if it was in terms of a Vegas fix. I think that was honestly that was Seattle's coaching staff going, Russell's got to win this game for us. He's our guy.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch might not even be here next year. Why would we let him win the game?
Yeah, and he's got a big mouth. Nobody.
Instead, they let a third string cornerback that's just got on the field for 3 games or whatever intercept, win it, re-signs with another team for $1 bajillion a year for 3 years, and does nothing from that point forward, right? So they created a fake hero on that one.
In Kansas City this year, 17 seconds left. Mahomes scrambles the ball, gets a 75-yard run for the win in overtime.
Yeah, and when they knew that's what he was doing. Yeah, like really, I mean, anyone who's watched football knows what a dime defense is, and that's when you put like everybody back.
Yeah, and they still get by.
Yeah, and he throws the long ball that you knew he was going to throw.
Yeah.
And he sets up the field goal. Yeah.
So when we're talking about the setup, where does gambling come in? Because I know, I watched The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah, I was just going to say, everyone's watching that movie, yeah.
And where does that come in? Because players are allowed to gamble and everything now too.
Yeah, so we're talking about FIFA, right? Here's the interesting story in FIFA. Germany and Austria were playing in, I think, an opening round of the World Cup, and trying to remember the whole scenario. It was like in the early '80s, and Germany was expected to win by a lot, but Austria had done the math, and as long as they only lost by 2 points or less, they moved on to the next round just because of their point system.
Yeah.
So the cheer from, imagine the team going, just don't suck. Like, we know we're going to lose, but don't lose too bad. Like, that was kind of the thing. Well, here you got Austria and Germany, who are friends.
Yeah.
They weren't in the early 19th century, but they're friends now, right? So you got 2 teams that are friends, or kind of neighboring countries. They probably have similar players that have traded back and forth. If Germany beats Austria by 3 points or more, some team from South America, I can't remember which one it is, gets in, and Austria's out of the next round. Germany is up by 2 points at halftime and then completely goes to sleep. So obviously it was kind of like, oh, we're going to score and kick it back to our goal. Oh, we're going to score and kick it out of bounds. It was only like them to do, and at the end they're all shaking hands, everybody's high-fiving, the 2 teams are hugging, and this South American team is watching TV going, what the F just happened? Like that's actually when this whole game fixing thing started with FIFA. It was so obvious. They're like, come on, guys. They're like, well, no, we still won. They're like, yeah, but a different team is going to the next round because of like that so result, think of Vegas. So you got me thinking about that with Vegas. Think of what Vegas had to do with that.
Yeah.
Like Vegas probably had them as 4-point favorites, and there's millions voted, millions per game on the FIFA, like billions per game by now.
Yeah.
And they obviously kink the score and they don't cover the spread. And you're sitting there in Caesar's Palace or something going, I just want my money back.
Yeah.
Like, and Vegas is going, well, that's not our fault. So is Vegas fixing games on purpose, or is Vegas as much a victim as us loyal fans?
I don't know. My money would be on Vegas.
Fixing games. It's always fun to say, nobody likes the Raiders anyways. Let's just blame it on Vegas, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's definitely.
Yeah, you know what, man? I mean, it's such big money, right? I mean, is it impossible to think that a game that's supposed to be a big game, like I don't know, like Cincinnati and the Rams, right? And they didn't cover the spread. Yeah. Right. And that's big money for Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Vegas loves when the team that was supposed to win wins but doesn't cover the spread. I mean, that's the sweet money spot, right? It's like, I don't want you to lose because then that guy wins. I want you to not, because there's guys that play the straight line and the spreads, and there's just a magic formula. And when you see 16 games out of however many go to overtime or were decided in the last 20 seconds, you kind of go, man, that's really good for Vegas. So it's hard not to think there's a little bit of shenanigans in there, right?
Manipulation there. Yeah. Even like Cincy making it to the Super Bowl for the first time in, was it 29 or 30 years now?
1980.
Joe Burrow comes back from a season-ending injury. He's now Cincy's favorite boy. But here's the kicker on that, because now he's also the quarterback that goes with 16 others who never reached the Super Bowl after losing their first one.
Yeah.
It's gone 16 quarterbacks in a row now that have never got back to that big game.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, he's one of them.
my least favorite quarterback.
Jared Goff, who got traded for Bradford, was one of them.
Yeah. I mean, he's He's at least the guy that has a chance. Well, no, he's at Detroit. He has no chance. He's
He's
still
got
playing, but he's
he's
got no
got no
chance.
chance.
Yeah, unless he gets traded somewhere else again, he's done. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right.
see Detroit being.
But I mean, even the Bengals getting to the Super Bowl and then not winning it is a feel-good story for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs since 1988.
Yeah.
When they lost the Super Bowl from the 49ers.
Oh, really?
And guess who Marino lost?
And Marino, yeah.
We have a habit of ruining good quarterbacks, yo.
So, the other two people that mentioned about tanking was Jason McCourty and Hugh Jackson.
Yep.
Both said that the Browns were not interested in winning in the 2016 season. They went 1-31, and they were told that it was going to be a 4-year development plan to basically go after and get draft
They
picks,
needed
right?
two first picks.
And well, like you were saying,
And then they got Baker Mayfield.
yeah.
So even the best laid plans can go wrong.
Yeah, and they had the money guy before that too, who's number 1 or something. I forget his name, but he got washed up before he even started too because he had a big mouth and didn't play. And
Yeah, that doesn't narrow it down.
yeah,
And I know
Say Antonio Brown? No, wait, he's still around.
yeah,
Detroit's not doing the best, as we can tell, but like since he did come back to the Super Bowl for the first time in 30 years.
Oh yeah,
So-
who knows? Maybe Detroit's due. I'll tell you what, you and me we'll go to Vegas, we'll put $1 on Detroit to win the Super Bowl. I bet you we'll win $1,000, I'll tell you what.
that would be interesting. And you know, with the Browns, they're like, no matter what they seem to do.
Yeah.
But here's what happens though. Some of these bottom feeding teams, like you were saying, end up beating the team that should be ranked higher,
Yeah.
and it changes their slot
Especially at the
on
end of
who
the
they're
year.
playing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are the owners talking to each other and
Oh,
hey, guess what?
you gotta
I'll pay you.
You gotta
10
think.
mil.
You gotta think they are right. I mean, on my level, I got a coach coming up to me saying, "Hey, coach, will you let us score 1 touchdown so the kids can celebrate on the bus?" That's the bottom level of, "Hey, Bob, you know, if we beat you,
Yeah.
we got our eye on this quarterback next year, and you know, we look
And
really good."
we're gonna draft him ahead of you, or trade
or
up.
we'll trade you 2 first-round picks anyways. We'll make a side deal, right? I'd
Yeah.
be curious to find out how many teams made a super upset that dramatically altered their pick decision, and then what other trades happened in the next 3 or 4 months to see if there were some deals.
and their playoff position that year.
Yeah.
Because like Detroit had a couple upsets. The one was it this year, or it was either this year or last year, where there's Detroit and a couple of the other bottom feeding teams that I was looking where I remember watching a video and it changed who the other teams were playing.
Yeah.
And it changed whether they got
Well,
a
even
first round bye.
strength of schedule for the following years, like this, they don't come up with the schedule until May because they need time to figure out where all the good games are.
Yeah.
Like, they just announced who San Francisco is playing next season, not the dates yet,
Yeah.
but we're playing Tampa Bay, we're playing Kansas City, we're playing and we play them like every 7 or 8 years. I mean, it's a rotation, but it's not an exact science.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, all of a sudden we have this, like our schedule is ridiculously tough because they're like, well, San Francisco's going to be a contender next year. Maybe not.
Yeah. Depending on who they get on.
And we got to play the Rams and the Cardinals and the Seahawks twice each because we're in the toughest division already. So let's take 2 of the top 4 teams in the league and throw them in there as well. So
Yeah, it's going to be a tough schedule.
yeah.
for
So
49ers.
and you never know why the strength of schedule goes so long. And then Tom Brady one year came off a Super Bowl win, and the next year had one of the easiest schedules. I'm like, well, how does that work? I understand the in-division thing, but when you pick the other teams, shouldn't you pick tough teams to beat? If they took 10 years and just made the bottom 10 teams have to pick a number for the draft order, so as long as you're in the bottom 10, you could be number 1, but you could be the 10th pick.
Be the 10.
I'd be curious to see how many more close games are at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, well, we're in the bottom 10 anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, kind of like
That fight for the biggest loser seems to be talked about more and more every year. Like, wow, do they really want to win this one?
Yeah, like the NHL has changed their draft in the last few years.
And that's coaches and GMs and owners.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, anyone who's you played football, right?
Yeah.
You don't, if someone comes up to you and says, I want you to try and lose, that doesn't work. At any level. You go to
unless you owe money from gambling.
That's right. Yeah, like the last Boy Scout.
Yeah, then you might.
Yeah, I'm not sure if point shaving happens as much. It can happen a lot more in, say, a baseball game, where it's an individual. It's 9 people playing an individual sport with each other, as I always say, or something. But in football, it'd be really tough to have a player actually determine the game. I think a lot of times it's, I mean, all a coach has to be is like, man, this team's really good against the run, so all of a sudden let's run.
Yeah.
Like how did New England beat Buffalo throwing
Oh.
4 passes?
Right?
4 passes.
Yeah.
And beat them.
I watched that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Like that can't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that game and I'm
Yeah.
like, no way. I'm
Yeah.
like, this
This can't
this
be
is
happening.
not.
Yeah.
This is like somebody.
Yeah. When San Francisco got into the Super Bowl the last time because they and Garoppolo only attempted 12 passes, we also had like a bajillion yards rushing. We were a rushing team first and throwing second, and it made sense.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden Garoppolo picks one game and throws for 628 yards, I'd be crying foul. Be like, where did this come from? Where was this guy the last 2 seasons?
Yeah, the game plan was
Yeah.
never set up
But
for that to
Mac
happen.
Jones was a passer, everything else. Freaking Josh Allen should be able to beat any team that doesn't throw at least 30 times on them. They have the defense to stop that kind of stuff, and somehow New England rolls on them with 4 attempted passes. Come on.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's tough
that was one of those ones too this year where
You're
I'm
right.
like,
Shenanigans.
I think, yeah, me and
Yeah,
David
I
watched it,
that one.
Yeah.
and I'm like, I get that Mac Jones is a rookie, but 4 passes, like,
Yeah.
and of course the
You throw
second
4
year,
passes in a whole game.
right? Like that just doesn't
And
make
it wasn't
sense.
like it was a blowout. They just decided to stop passing. Like it was a game right to the end, so he should have been passing all along.
Yeah, because they should have been going to try bring up the score, get a little bit of separation and everything like that.
Yeah.
You don't want mistakes, but when you're only rushing and not getting first downs, then you should be changing your game plan as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think
Yeah, I don't know.
that's-
I like I said, I try not to go too deep into conspiracies where there's a conspiracy. I think where you hit the nail on the head is it comes down to money. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and you know, I'll never compare the NFL to the WWE because maybe I should give credit to the WWE because the WWE will actually admit
that
that it's scripted and it's done. Like I mean,
To a
it's,
point, yeah.
to a point.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. I mean, there's a sense of competition and everything else for it, but it's an entertainment venue as much as it's a sports venue. NFL will say, no, this isn't about entertaining, man. Like,
yeah, this is
if a
just
team,
sports.
if a team wins 6-3 because of three crappy field goals in a blinding snowstorm, they just, you know, those games never end up on Thursday Night Football or the
Yeah.
America's Game of the Week, whatever. They move them around. I mean, I went to
they've got the NFL has a flex
so they
games now.
flexed one of my games, and it was I was traveling to it. I went to the Seahawks Niners game last year. It was my one away game that I went to see him. And fortunately, I had already planned to come home Monday morning anyways because crappy flights getting home. They flexed us. And I was like, it's a good thing I was already coming in early enough because it was literally like 3 days before. They're like, yeah, your game's not doing the night game anymore because we think it's going to suck. And then it ended up being one of the best games of the year. But yeah, so they're even almost admitting that it's about entertainment when they're flexing games. It should be like, you know what? Yeah, we understand that a Detroit-Kansas City game is not going to be a big watcher on a Thursday night. And then but it is what it is. You made the schedule when you thought that might, because when Goff first went over there, everybody's like, oh, you know, Goff.
Yeah, maybe he might.
Something's gonna happen. Then 3 games later, they're like, nah, it's Detroit, right?
Yeah.
So Detroit had some premium games, and they flexed them out, and it's like, okay, well now you're showing us that it's more about the money than the purity of the sport. So if they've gone that far, what's to say that they're this $100,000 to ditch games? I mean, everyone's like, oh, Flores and Miami, they're horrible people, and the other 31 owners are going, oh my god. Like,
Yeah, just wait till.
remember back in 1987 when we did that? Remember back in 1992 when we did that? Like, there's probably a whole bunch of guys going, oh, he just is the only one that got caught.
Well, yeah, the Rams owner a couple of years.
The Browns, like we just said, they're 1-31.
And was it Al Davis for having comments that came out where he had to get bought out by the Raiders?
Oh,
A couple of years ago, he
Before.
was on the ownership and something to do with
the son
racism
didn't take him
or,
out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
or something that came out. But you know, it's things like that where everyone's digging to be negative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any positive post about almost anybody now.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has a good game,
Well, and I'll say this.
or a bad game. It's all,
Yeah.
well, they should have done this, and they're just finding other people to pick on
Yeah.
and not talking about the good things that are happening
Well,
either, right?
Just like, I mean, Flores now, I mean, he's saying like, I was so offended, and I want to be like, well, did you tell the world that you were offered $100,000 a game to tank a game before you tanked your first game?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you're talking about it later when you got fired.
Yeah.
And then didn't get the job from the Giants. So now you're screaming racism and bloody murder and everything. And you know what? The systematic racism does exist in professional sports. I truly believe that.
Yeah,
but
I
you
do too.
can't cry wolf afterwards, because actually I think you're not getting a job because you might be that douchebag that threw a bunch of games.
Yeah.
You're not that race of a douchebag that threw those games. You're just a douchebag that threw a bunch of games and took money for it. So maybe there's a few reasons the Giants are going, that guy probably shouldn't be on our bench next year because that guy's got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that it's being overused a little bit in some cases. So
Yeah, I do as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year because there's a lot of
this
things
whole summer's
coming
going to be a
to
whole bunch of that crap. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think unfortunately it's going to take the focus away from all the fun stuff that happens off season. I mean, for us avid NFL watchers, my wife will tell you, it's a 12-month-a-year sport when you're really into it, right?
Yeah.
Because as soon as the Super Bowl ended, I started listening to the podcast to see what all the
find
draft
out
talk
where-
was.
Yeah.
And now the USFL fires up, April 10th or 9th or something like
Yeah.
that. So and my wife's like, oh my God, how long does that go for? I go, just in time before
the NFL starts.
yeah, preseason
Yeah.
starts. I'm like, perfect, right? So it's going to take. I mean, if I'm the USFL, I'd be pissed right now. I mean, the NFL is going to be stealing half of the professional football highlights while a brand new league is trying to fire up.
Yeah.
So
And then you've got the XFL teaming up with
Yeah,
the
The
NFL
Rock,
now and The Rock. That
Yeah.
should be interesting. That
I love
stirred
that
up
though.
the world a lot.
XFL went under because I think they were $5 million underwater.
Yeah.
And of course they had all these pissant owners that didn't have any money. The Rock gets what, like $30 million movie?
Yeah.
So I go, oh, we're in trouble. I guess I'll go do Jungle Cruise 2 and I'll just fund the XFL for a couple more years. Right? So that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to see what he does with it. As long as he doesn't go the way McMahon went and turns it into the
joke. Yeah.
the bazooki cannons and the cheesy antics and stuff, right? I mean, make it a real league, which hopefully the Rock would do. He's a legit player. Right?
He played all growing up and everything.
And then, did I tell you the USFL is actually owned by Fox and Disney, right? So I mean, that's going to be heavily funded too. So I mean, there's a lot of football out there now to stay. So.
Do you think they go global?
Yeah, why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all those European games.
Oh man, even
that's another. Hey, there's a conspiracy. How come the Jaguars can suck
here,
and then
but
they go to England
London
and they all show up in Jaguar uniform and the Jags win? I actually bet money on the Jags in England, and a good friend of mine, we always share our bets, and he's like, I can't believe you're betting on the Jaguars. I'm like, they're in London.
Yeah.
And later he's like, how'd you know? I'm like, dude, you haven't watched those games. The Jags win in London.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they must really like him there. Yeah, come on.
That doesn't matter.
They just play better because they're in London. They don't get jet lag as bad as the other team. Like, come on, right?
So going global, now that you mentioned like the WWE and everything too, the WWE has actually stated that they make more money in their Saudi events than they almost do in a year of WWE in North America.
And the Super Bowl is already among the top watched programs of all time.
In the world.
Like 7 out of 10, I think, or something. I don't remember what the last stat was, but like most of the most watched is our Super Bowls. Now introduce the rest, because in Europe's already starting to catch on. I mean, NFL Europe didn't quite catch on, but maybe it was a little too early. I bet you if they brought back NFL Europe, it'd be game on.
Yeah, I think it would be huge there.
Yeah, you're no problem finding players. I mean, how many college teams are there in the U.S.? Like 100 some? I don't watch a lot of college ball, but 100 some compared to 30 some, and they got their 53 roster plus their practice squad plus, and they graduate a quarter of them every year. I mean, there's enough talent out there for USFL, XFL, NFL, CFL, and let's start one up. Let's have the NFL Middle East and NFL Europe.
Yeah.
And it would
and then have them play against each other.
Yeah, and then have the global bowl, and they could play it like on a stage that's on like air cushions up in the air or something like that. So if you go out of bounds, you actually fall off and stuff. Like they could have a lot of fun with that.
Almost like the old gladiator show.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So your favorite team? Who's your favorite team?
Rams.
Rams? Why?
They've got OBJ.
OBJ, Mr. One-Hander.
Yeah. Dad's been a huge fan of Matt Stafford too. I'm happy to see him.
You gotta like the guy, right?
Yeah.
I liked him on Detroit. I always said if he ever gets off of Detroit, he'll actually accomplish something.
Yeah.
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 I mean, how can you not like the guy?
And even him. So they criticize him all the time that he can't win in Detroit.
Yeah.
He leaves, wins a Super Bowl, and the first thing that every podcaster and sportscaster and everything is talking about is, oh, he's not Hall of Fame worthy now. It's like, can't you be, like, even his wife went out and posted, can't you just be happy for us for like one day? She goes
Yeah,
and
his
tweets,
wife,
right?
his wife can't say too much. That's a lady that should probably not be on social media. Some of these professional sports athletes should have written into their contracts that your brothers, like Mahomes, right? Your brothers, your wives, whatever, can't be on social media as long as you play for this team because
Parents,
parents.
OBJ's,
Oh, yeah.
how he got released from the Browns this year,
Yeah,
goes and scores 6 touchdowns, and then rips the same knee apart again.
yeah.
So hopefully he comes back.
But gets a
I
Super
don't-
Bowl ring on his finger.
Yeah, he gets
Yeah.
a Super Bowl, so
Yeah, right. Yeah.
he can end
He'll
on
be
a,
back.
on a happy note.
Yeah,
And
he'll be back. No, I know. I just, yeah. What makes somebody a Hall of Fame, right? I mean, Marino didn't win a single Super Bowl, but had all those records. Now
Yeah.
he doesn't have any. Well, they're almost all gone now. But
yeah, now, yeah, you talk to any new person.
So now, if a young guy you bring Xavier to the NFL Hall of Fame and he looks at Dan Marino and it shows his current records held, one maybe no,
Yeah,
and probably not even, and Super Bowls won none. He goes, okay, why is he here? Well, you know, he was in the league for a long time. Yeah, so was Hostetler and
yeah.
there's a whole bunch of guys been in the league for 16 years and didn't win Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith.
Yeah, probably won't get in the Super Bowl.
Ryan
Or
Fitzpatrick.
yeah, right. They won't get in
He's
the Hall of Fame.
played for almost
Yeah,
every.
they'll be like
half the
10th
teams
ballot
or
Hall of
something,
Famers,
yeah.
whatever. So those of us that grew up watching Marino, you go, oh, it's like it was a phenom. But actually, by the numbers, he went from being a Hall of Famer when he was voted in to maybe they should just take the plaque off the wall today.
Yeah,
So a guy like Stafford, I'll say, like, I hate the fact that we didn't get to the Super Bowl and notch another one, but the guy's got a Super Bowl ring and a huge, he's put up some amazing stats, like his passing yardage, but, I mean, he was on a team that was behind by 30 points every single
yeah. So
game.
he had
The guy's
to
got
pass
passing
60
stats
times,
coming out
yeah.
of his butt, right? So he's gonna have massive stats that will hold up as a top 10 type stat, 1 or 2 Super Bowl rings, that's a Hall of Famer. And,
Yeah.
I say that in all honesty because I don't like the Rams, because I'm a 49er, so I'm legally obligated to not like the Rams, the Cardinals, or the Seahawks, so.
Yeah, that's true.
But
And,
he played a good game.
yeah, he had a good game. I don't know. I like Stafford. Whether he's Hall of Fame, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not yet. It'd be questionable. Even Marino, because he played in a different time though, where those stats weren't there. Because that
Yeah.
like in that era, it was more running. It was
Yeah. I mean, Marino was a touchdown away from that Super Bowl in '84, whatever
Yeah,
it was. And I
84.
mean, that would have been his ultimate Super Bowl. Like Marino can sit around and say that he was the greatest of this, greatest of that, but you know deep down saying it just eats him up inside.
yeah that he didn't get that
Then
ring.
you got a guy like Terry Bradshaw that doesn't hold any quarterback records. He's got 4. I still remember when CBS and NBC were doing the playoffs,
Yeah.
and Marino was a correspondent, and of course, what's his name? Did you say his name? From Pittsburgh.
Bettis.
No, the
Or,
quarterback,
Bradshaw.
and they would actually beat each other. So the morning game would be like Marino going, oh, and Bradshaw, like, I got the passing record, the this record, the that record, and everybody was waiting, like, oh, Bradshaw's gonna get him back, So Bradshaw comes on the afternoon game and he's talking away, and I'm like, I was actually watching because I'm like, oh, he's gonna give it to Marino. And they're basically about to sign off, and I'm like, oh, I guess he's gonna be the better man. And then Bradshaw, they put in the camera right on him, and he's like, oh, and Dan, if you're wondering now what record I hold that you don't, and he had all of his rings hanging off his, like those big gaudy rings, and he puts it right in the camera, he's like, 4 Super Bowls, baby, and then it just goes to commercial. It was awesome, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, Super Bowls mean a lot. You know, even
Oh,
Eli Manning, he's another one. He was always consistent and everything, but same thing.
But not a great quarterback.
He wasn't a great quarterback, but he was a good quarterback,
Yeah.
and he won twice in the Super Bowl
Against Tom Brady.
against Tom Brady.
Right? He beat the best
And-
quarterback in the
yeah.
world ever.
And that's bragging rights if you've ever
Yeah.
heard anything. And
There's
you
another
can
example of a
guarantee-
wife that shouldn't talk to the media too after that game.
yeah.
Well, Giselle should have get promotion out of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was fired up.
Yeah, she's fiery.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Oh, when you're that hot, you can be fiery, I guess.
And when you have that much.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah,
sue
you
me.
don't care what others.
Sue me, I can afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever anybody's opinion.
But yeah,
is.
Eli Manning's a perfect example. He wasn't half the quarterback his brother was.
Yeah.
They both have the same number of rings though. So
Yeah.
20 years from now, when those of us that watch them play will remember the difference, nobody will remember it when they're on the wall.
Yeah, yeah. When you see the stat, it's like, oh, cool. Guess what? They both had 2
Yeah,
rings.
they're like twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you were drafting again, going back in time, you want Peyton or Eli? Please.
It's like, yeah, it's not even, it's
Yeah.
not even a comparison.
Yeah, maybe we'll convert Eli to a tight end and put him on the same team or something, right? So,
Yeah, well, maybe it might go as well as their podcast. Because they've
exactly.
been,
Oh yeah.
their show on.
Did you watch it?
I watched a couple of
It's
them.
too distracting. They talk too much.
Yeah, like I've been a Peyton Manning fan since he was drafted in
Yeah,
'98.
me too. Yeah.
He came, like, I had any NFL '98 or whatever when
Yeah.
he played the first year. Him and Drew Brees or whatever, and started watching him. Their mom painted in the Cohen's bedroom, painted the big Indianapolis Colts
The horseshoe,
freehand,
yeah. Cool.
and painted it all blue. All his baby stuff was all Indianapolis
Yeah,
Colts.
and you know what's funny? Peyton Manning has the rookie interception record.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers. He
Yeah,
was
nobody
like a horrible
cares.
quarterback because the next year he lit it up and then he just worked his
Yeah,
way through.
it's just
then,
been
then
consistently.
became only one of a handful of quarterbacks to go to another team and win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
And then Tom Brady had to do it.
that's why Brady's gonna join the Niners this
I
year.
think he
He'll
will.
be the first quarterback to win Super Bowls for three
Three
teams.
teams, yeah.
And he'll do it just for that.
Yeah. I would put money on it. I've been researching, and
I honestly think he plays it one season for the Niners. We have a team that's kind of built to win right now with a quarterback that maybe needs a few years to develop. We need a quarterback to come in and work with the team we have while young Trey sits on the bench and learns from the greatest quarterback of all time.
yeah, and you need Tom Brady on the field to just do what Tom Brady does,
Yeah.
and not have anybody else tell him what to
And
do.
as much as I had a hard time being a Brady fan, just because I couldn't like the Patriots, the one thing I'll give him credit for is his salary. Like his base salary with the Bucks was what, like $9 million or something.
Yeah.
So you got Rodgers that says, I'm gonna
I mean,
hack Rodgers, and
50.
Rodgers, I know you're all over social media, so feel free to call both of us.
Yeah.
You got our names, you can PM me, and I'll stand up to your whiny ass anytime you want. Rodgers will say, I'll stay with the Packers if you give me 50 mil, 48 mil. So they'll give him the 48 mil. I think they will. I think he stays. They'll give him 48 million and say there. Then he's going to be on social media week 2 going, how am I supposed to win games when there's no talent around me? And the owners won't say it, but they'll be thinking, well, how are we supposed to have talent around me when we took 80% of our, or well, not 80, but half of our salary cap for one player, and we had to split the rest with the other 52 guys.
Yeah.
Brady says, no, don't pay me. Call Gronk.
Yeah.
Don't pay me.
Call Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. Get all these guys. Pay him $2 million, him $1
Yeah.
million. You get $1 million. Everybody, look under your chairs. Everybody gets $1 million. Let's go win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's the guy you want playing for your team. Rodgers says, you better get some talent around me. Oh, and you better make me the highest paid quarterback in the league. And they go, okay, those two things can't
Yeah,
happen.
it
It's impossible.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Brady was the ideal teammate, because in the last game of the season, when they should have pulled him, when they were blowing it up, it was like 40 something to 8 or 3 or whatever. Remember that game?
Yeah.
And Brady's like, I'm not leaving until Gronk gets his so many
Bonus.
passing yards or
Yeah,
whatever
to
to
get
get
his
his bonus.
Yeah, because they all keep
So-
the low pay and big bonuses.
Yeah. So he stayed out there, got Gronk his bonus, and then
I'm done.
then he's like, okay, now I can finish.
He
the
throws
game.
the pass and walks off the field.
Yeah.
It's in the air. He's like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And it's like, that's a true teammate.
Yeah.
That's what being a teammate is about. And,
Yeah, that's why I said like I couldn't be a fan of his on New England because I just couldn't like the Pats. But I'll tell you when he was talking about coming to the Niners, my son was like, "You think so?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Absolutely,
I think
absolutely."
so. I hope so.
Give him his $10 million plus a Super Bowl bonus or whatever, and let's go get a ring.
Yeah, you have season tickets next
That's
year.
right, I
So
got
I'm-
tickets.
I'm
We'll-
stealing
yeah,
one
we'll
of
go,
those.
yeah.
We're gonna go and watch Brady
Yeah.
in his last
And
year.
when we play Tampa Bay
Yeah.
too, so it would be kind of funny because Garoppolo could end up at Tampa Bay.
I think he could, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'd be in a good system there.
Well,
Because
yeah.
I like Jimmy G. I think he'd be in a
That's
good
what will
system
suck is
there.
we go to play him, we have Brady and Garoppolo comes out, throws for 438 yards and beats us.
Yeah.
Or throws 4 passes and beats us.
Yeah, yeah.
I would be willing to put money on that Brady goes to the 49ers for his final year, wins the Super Bowl, and then stops.
Yeah. He'll buy a big house there, his parents still live there, he likes the Bay Area.
Yeah.
He said
He's got a big ass yacht now too.
his parents haven't driven to see him play football since high school or something,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, he's got some motive, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, we'll take him.
I think he goes there. He's got a big yacht.
And,
He's got a
I'll
huge.
tell you what, if we get him, any tickets, any games I don't go to see, the money I get for those resale tickets doubles.
Yeah, it should be
Yeah.
interesting. So, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the whole topic was we got a little off topic, but in terms of NFL tanking, I gotta say I I think there's the intentional stuff, like this Flores stuff, and there's obviously this Vegas betting odds hanging around. I think some of it is just a pressure on the game that needs to be fixed. I think the refereeing system needs to be completely overhauled. I think they need to take some of the game making. Who wants to see the referees decide the score of a game?
Yeah.
That's the most horrible thing. I don't even care if my team loses. If it's at the hands of the refs, I'm like, oh, we didn't sign up to play the refs.
Yeah.
So and sometimes it's not the refs making intentionally bad calls. The game's fast. There's 22 big guys running everywhere, knocking them over and everything else. We need to maybe take some of that out of their hands and automate some of that reffing. I know the purists will say, oh my God, we can't have computers making decisions.
I don't know.
You know what?
It's proven.
Yeah, it works, right? So I think we need to clean up the game. We need to modify the reffing. We need to take away all the external influences that could be the natural way that games are getting kinked.
Yeah.
And then if the games are still appearing to be very contrived and kinked, I think honestly, if Flores can prove this, I think Flores is going to find though that when the dust settles, they're going to come down to Miami, like they're going to sanction them, they'll take away draft picks, they'll fine them, do all this, and then they should go find Flores for taking $100,000 a game for tanking. Like he's making it be like, can you believe they did this? And I'm like, can I believe you took the money?
Yeah.
Yeah, like your bank account was how many games did it? Was it your 13? So I got 1.3 million reasons. You might be as much of a douche as the owners of the Miami Dolphins. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my thought on that one. So, and Flores can contact me if he wants to, because I'd love to have a conversation with him.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. And Xavier, any closing thoughts? No?
Go Niners.
All right, everyone. Go Niners. Tom Brady, I know you're probably going to watch this, or we'll see you next year, hopefully in San Fran.
That's right.
Yeah.